Another bombshell just dropped from Gan Deal, and yeah, this one's heavy. He's officially gone public with details about Tupac's shooting that 50 Cent refused to put in his Netflix documentary. We're talking about $1 million check, claims that Diddy knew Tupac was about to be shot, and the real setup behind Biggie's murder. This is the kind of information Netflix allegedly didn't want touching their platform, but you're about to hear it all right now. Let's be real. You clicked this video because you heard Gan Deal is exposing things 50 didn't want the public to see. And trust me, you clicked for the right reason. So let's not waste time. Here's what's really going on. 50 Cent just sold his Diddy documentary to Netflix for millions. Naturally, everyone in hip-hop expected Gan Deal to be front and center. Why? Because Gan was Diddy's personal bodyguard during the Bad Boy glory days. He's also been the loudest voice exposing Bad Boy secrets for years. He was there when it all happened. But when the documentary finally dropped, Gan was missing. No interview, no footage, not even a mention.
A new Netflix docuseries about Sean Diddy Combs is making headlines for its never-before-seen footage of the music mogul in the days before his arrest. Now, Combs is threatening legal action against the streamer for airing the unauthorized footage. Behind the series is Combs' longtime rap rival 50 Cent and director Alexandria Stapleton, who sat down with NBC News' Chloe Malas ahead of tonight's release.
Now Gan is telling the world exactly why he's not in it. He says he has footage, conversations, and straight-up evidence that 50 Cent completely cut from the final version. And honestly, once you hear what Gan is claiming, it becomes clear why 50 might have been nervous to include it. In this video, you'll learn the real reason Gan Deal walked away from the documentary, the moment Diddy allegedly knew Tupac was about to get shot and did nothing, the $1 million check Gan says he saw with his own eyes tied directly to Tupac's murder, and the full story behind Biggie's murder, including warnings Gan says were ignored. This is serious, so let's get into it. Before we break down Gan's leaked evidence, there's something important you need to understand. This documentary was allegedly supposed to be over 10 episodes long, but instead, 50 Cent released a 4-part Netflix series called Diddy: The Reckoning, featuring never-before-seen footage filmed just days before Diddy's arrest. We're talking private lawyer conversations, Diddy greeting fans in Harlem, and behind-the-scenes moments nobody had ever seen. And yeah, it was interesting. But according to Gan Deal, it missed the most important parts. This series was supposed to expose everything, every crime, every cover-up. But Gan says the real truth was left on the cutting room floor. So who exactly is Gan Deal? He was Diddy's bodyguard during the peak Bad Boy era. He lived through the East Coast versus West Coast tension. He was in Vegas the night Tupac was shot. He was in LA the night Biggie was killed. He saw it all firsthand, and now he's done staying quiet. So let's get into what he's revealing. The first question everybody's asking is simple. Why isn't Gan Deal in the documentary?
I want to put her on blast because she was telling me, she was saying to me that what I was asking for was crazy and they wasn't spending money like that. I'm talking about you got footage, you got clothing, you got, I was doing footage, I had pictures, all the stuff that I had, you could figure out a way to pay a brother and stuff like that. And then I was telling her about some prices that I've already received and I had the invoices to show it. And then she was calling me like I was lying. I'm like, yo, who do you think you talking to? You know what I'm saying? And she was talking about, there's no way nobody paid. Nobody what? I say, first of all you people come with these documentaries and stuff, the first thing you tell me, y'all tell these people out here that y'all don't pay, and y'all pay. If you can make a picture look like $10,000, $15,000, you know what I'm saying? You can sit here and tell me that you're gonna pay me for my time sitting right down here with y'all. You understand? So then, one thing led to another, and I was like, yeah, all right, well then, F you, I spoke to 50, and then she said 50, and this is exact words that came out her mouth. 50 does not determine what goes in and goes out of this document.
Gan recently explained it in an interview. He actually started working with the documentary team early on. They wanted his footage, his stories, everything. But then he had a conversation with the director, Alex Stapleton, that changed the whole situation. According to Gan, she told him straight up that 50 Cent didn't control the money or the content, and when Gan heard what they were offering him financially, he felt completely disrespected. Put yourself in Gan's shoes for a second. He has footage no one else has. He has first-hand access to some of the most important moments in hip-hop history, and they offered him what he felt was pocket change compared to what the documentary was worth. So Gan said no. He walked away. But here's where it gets interesting. Gan says it wasn't just about the money. The documentary also left out major evidence that he knows about.
Jake. Wolf was not the gunman who killed Jake, and Mark Curry knows that to be true. You understand? And East Coast War was more like Helena of Troy. When Puff got mad at Suge for being out there and allowing Misa to come out there to make money, however she was doing it, to feed her family, he vowed down that it's like, yo, I ain't never fucking with her again, and I ain't never fucking with him again. Puff and Suge had a conversation behind the House of Blues about was we all right, and Tupac was alive. Tupac wasn't dead. So if it was a war, Suge ain't having no conversation with Puff about we good. I know he could be doing a Hoboken hustle, trying to fool a brother, but had he killed my man or some shit like that, I wouldn't have no conversation with Puff. I'd been like, yo, you know what y'all niggas done? You know what happened? And it wasn't no conversation like that, brother. It wasn't no conversation whereas that, you know, Suge made Puff feel like I'm gonna get you a payback for what happened to Jake. This was more so that Puff, for whatever reason, Suge, for whatever reason he was mad at Puff, and Puff, for whatever reason he was mad at Suge, it was between them two. It wasn't no whole East Coast wanted the West Coast dead, and the West Coast wanted East Coast dead, because they still was going out, still chilling, still at places with each other. It was Bad Boy, and it was Death Row. It was no East Coast and no West Coast. West Coast dudes were still coming out on the East Coast getting love. East Coast niggas was still going out on the West Coast getting love. It was Bad Boy versus Death Row. And that's what it was, bro. And it was because of the two CEOs. But Suge tried to straighten it out. I gotta get at the Suge. The Death Row East Coast was going to bring in Eric B. It was going to bring in Big D. And those brothers was from the East Coast. So now they was looking for a representative to come to the meeting from Bad Boy so they could straighten out the shit between Pac and Big and Death Row and Bad Boy. And Puff is the one who refused. Puff is the one to refuse to send a representative or either come himself, and got mad at Zip and them because they were in the Mirage on 57th Street partying with Suge Knight. Got mad at them, and Zip hung up the phone on behind that.
But what you mean by Mark Curry? You know who killed Big J?
It was some Jamaican dude from the Bronx. He's dead now. The police ended up killing him at Magic City. I don't know his name, but Mark Curry know that it wasn't Wolf.
But when I was looking at the documentary, Kirk Burroughs, he did confirm that Big, he didn't want to go to LA, and they was actually getting warnings not to go to LA. But you know, Diddy, he wanted to go, man.
My man, yo, we must have had warnings, man. I didn't know. I knew that we shouldn't be out there in the first place.
For example, the documentary talks about the East Coast versus West Coast war, but according to Gann, they completely censored the truth about bodyguard Jake Wolf's death. Gann claims Mark Curry knows exactly who killed Jake Wolf, and it wasn't some government conspiracy. He says it was a Jamaican man from the Bronx who later got killed by police at a club called Magic City. Gann also says the entire East Coast versus West Coast narrative is wrong. This wasn't about regions. It was Bad Boy versus Death Row, Diddy versus Suge Knight. Artists were still traveling coast to coast getting love. The real beef was between those two camps. And here's what the documentary completely skipped. Death Row allegedly tried to make peace. They wanted a meeting to squash the beef between Tupac and Biggie, but according to Gann, Diddy refused. He wouldn't go himself and wouldn't send anyone from Bad Boy either. Gann says all of that was cut. And honestly, you can see why 50 might have been nervous including that, because what Gann is really saying is that this violence could have been stopped, and it wasn't. Now let's get into the most explosive claim of all. Gann Deal says Diddy knew Tupac was about to get shot at Quad Studios, and he was there to watch it happen.
We talk about the whole incident of the Quad Studio shit. Like in the documentary, they was talking about that, right? You know what I'm saying? They talked about the Quad Studio shit, but they didn't mention the fact, and they left it out, that Big and C's did not know that Puff and Andre Harrell was in Jimmy Henchman's office the day Pac got killed. I mean, the day Pac got shot at Quad Studio. Let me repeat that again so it don't get mixed up in the whole thing. They did not mention that Andre Harrell and Puff Daddy and Jimmy Henchman were all in the office together. Puff was on the office because he was trying to spy on Big them, because Big was writing the Junior Mafia stuff and Puff had his publisher. I told this to a couple of people before, I said it before, and you got people that's running with it like they knew the story in the whole 9 yards. You understand? They'll lie and you ask them, how do you know that? Who told you? They couldn't even tell you that. They'll tell you some lie, they did some kind of investigation, but it didn't happen like that. You understand? Puff was there to spy on Big because he had owned Big Publishing. And Big had turned around, and the same people who helped Puff get Big Publishing told Big to turn and put Tatiana or put somebody else's name on his publishing, or give it to Lil C's or whoever, this, that, and the third that he wrote for, so he can get the money from it. So that's how that went down. So they was there to spy on Big. In the interim of him being there to spy on Big, Jimmy Henchman told him that they finna show Pac, teach Pac a lesson, because Pac had owed him some money. So that's why he was up in the studio and was coming to the studio. Pac owed him some money. Pac owed him some money. He was gonna work it off and get some money from doing a song with Lil Sean. And that's what that was about. But Pac was talking greasy to Jimmy Henchman, and Jimmy Henchman wasn't the type of dude that you talk greasy to, allegedly, unless you're 50 Cent.
So Diddy knew what was going to happen to Pac.
He knew Pac was about to deal with. Yeah, he was there to see it. He was there to see it. He wasn't only there to see Big them. When Jimmy Henchman told him that, he was there to see what's going to happen to Pac. He was there for that, because had he not been there for that, he would have went up there in the office. He would have went to the studio or the studio session with Big them. He would have went to that studio session with Big them. He knew what room Big them was in. He didn't do that. He was there to see what was going to happen to Pac after Jimmy told him, and that's factual.
The documentary talks about the 1994 Quad Studios shooting, where Tupac was shot 5 times, but Gans says it left out the most critical detail. According to him, Diddy, Andre Harrell, and Jimmy Henchman were all together in Jimmy's office that day. Gans says Biggie didn't even know Diddy was there. Diddy was supposed to be upstairs with Biggie, who was working on Junior Mafia tracks. Instead, Diddy stayed downstairs, spying. Why? Because Diddy owned Biggie's publishing, and Biggie was trying to get out of that deal. People were advising Biggie to put his publishing under someone else's name so Diddy wouldn't control the money. Gans says Diddy went to Jimmy Henchman's office to keep tabs on everything. And while he was there, Jimmy allegedly told Diddy they were about to teach Tupac a lesson over a debt. Tupac was supposed to show up to work off that money, but he'd been talking reckless, and Jimmy Henchman wasn't someone you played with. Gans says Diddy knew the plan. If he didn't, he would have gone upstairs to Biggie, but he didn't. He stayed put and waited. According to Gan, Diddy was there when Tupac was shot and did nothing to stop it. The documentary left all of this out. Gan also explains why Diddy allegedly had so much animosity toward Tupac in the first place.
That hate stemmed from wanting to be him, idolize him off, he idolized Tupac, because you gotta realize when a woman looked at Tupac, they probably wanted him. Puff wasn't getting that type of fever from girls. You understand what I'm saying? Puff had to use his money, Puff had to use his position in order to get women. Now I seen him with some bad joints, and I used to look at them like this, like, not on no hating shit, but like, you wouldn't be here if he wasn't puffed.
According to Gan, it was jealousy, not over music, but over women. Gan says Tupac had natural magnetism. Women were drawn to him without effort. Meanwhile, Gan claims Diddy had to rely on money and status. Gan even recalls walking women out after they'd been with Diddy, thinking, if he wasn't Puff, you wouldn't be here. He says Diddy once admitted to him, I don't know how to talk to women. That jealousy, Gan claims, played a big role in everything that followed. And finally, Gan says he doesn't just have stories, he has evidence.
Showed me and my man Boom Dang, aka my man Slick, a check for $1 million. We don't know, and everybody trying to say, lying, talking about half of it got paid, 500. I don't know. I know when I asked him about, we asked him, do we ask? No, we didn't ask him. I know when he showed us the check and he walked away after he showed us the check for the $1 million, you understand? I asked Boom, I said, yo, Boom, when did he get a record label? He said, you know how Zip is. I said, when did he get a Zip record label? Zip had a check for $1 million. He said he got it from Barry Hankerson and Jimmy Henchman for his record label, Black Ground Records. So now, if that's true, we know Jimmy Henchman and Puff was cool. You should be able to trace $1 million if that's the truth. If that's the truth, you should be able to trace it.
Gan describes an incident on 112th Street where a man named Eric Zip Von Zip showed up bragging about a new car. Then, Zip pulled out a check for $1 million. Gan says he saw it with his own eyes. Zip allegedly said the check came from Barry Hankerson and Jimmy Henchman for Black Ground Records, right after Tupac's death. Gan says if law enforcement really wanted to solve Tupac's murder, all they'd have to do is follow that check. This wasn't cash under the table. $1 million check leaves a paper trail, banks, signatures, records. According to Gan Deal, the evidence is right there, if anyone actually wants to look.
Maybe he can help law enforcement on how, if Diddy had anything to do with breaking that money up or giving that money up to him like that. Or did he use somebody else? Or did he do something for somebody else to be able to get that money for that? We don't know.
I was just about to say that too. Keefe D, he can use him for the upcoming trial.
Well, Kirk was meticulous in always keeping notes and files and things like that. But that money can't, just do a trace on $1 million check. Just do a trace on them. I want them to do it, because that would prove that I saw $1 million check. That would prove, just do a trace on it. The man dead now, what you gonna do? Do a trace on it.
And there's someone else who could hold the key to this money trail. Kirk Burroughs, former president of Bad Boy Records. Gann says Kirk kept super detailed notes and files on everything that went down. According to Gene, Kirk even claimed he paid people to fly out to Las Vegas around the time Tupac got shot. Gene admits he doesn't remember that part firsthand, but if Kirk has those records, that's massive. Gann points out, you can't exactly hide $1 million. If Kirk has documentation showing who got paid and for what, he could be the witness that cracks this case wide open. The big question is, will anyone actually investigate? Or is this evidence destined to stay buried like it has for nearly 30 years? Now buckle up, because this next part is insane. Gann Deal was literally there the night Biggie got murdered, and the story he tells flips everything most people think they know. Before heading to LA, Gann got warnings that something bad was coming. He got a call from Wadsworth Unique Hall, a major drug kingpin who was locked up in Colorado with El Chapo at the time. All he said? 2 words: vest up. Then the call dropped. Feds sometimes cut off 3-way calls, so Gann called back through the connector. It was really unique from Mecca Audio. Another message came through. They're coming out. They're coming to get y'all. Gann immediately called Kirk Burroughs to request more security. At that time, there were only 4 security guards for Diddy, Biggie, and the whole crew, not nearly enough. But Diddy? He said no, refused to hire extra protection. Then came a second warning from Chaz Williams, telling Gann the same thing: they were coming. Gann knew the danger was real. Beef was everywhere. Jake Wolf's death, a winter bagel shooting in New York linked to Biggie, Diddy arguing with a Muslim guy at Soul Train, and of course, Tupac's murder. Gann knew he had to tell Diddy directly. He went to Andre Harrell's house where Diddy was staying. Diddy came down the stairs wearing a white Beverly Hills hotel robe. Gann laughed about that later. But then he got serious. Yo, Puff, I got intel. People are going to try to kill us. Diddy's response? I don't want to hear that shh. You don't have to go if you don't want to. And then he walked out. Later, Gann found out from Clark Kent, DJ and VP at Motown, that Biggie had told Clark the party he was going to was set up by D-Rock and Puff. This wasn't random, it was planned. At the Peterson Museum, Gann was on high alert. He had his gun ready, watching the crowd. But Diddy ordered him into the car. Gann was furious. How the sh are you going to tell me how to do my job? But he got in. He told the driver Kenny, run the next 3 lights, run the next 3 lights. Then chaos. Tone behind Gann shouted, yo, Big's name ain't coming across the light. Someone pointed a gun at Big. Shots rang out. Kenny gunned it. Gann was yelling, what the sh are you doing, Kenny? They're shooting at Big. They tried to chase the shooter, but lost them. And instead of heading to the hospital 2 blocks away, Kenny drove 30 minutes. Gann's last words to Biggie? Don't let him go to sleep. Keep him up. Biggie's last words? Just do it. Gann believes that if they'd gone to the closer hospital, Biggie might still be alive. Gann clarifies, he doesn't think Diddy personally pulled the trigger, but here's his point.
Seems strange. Could Puff have been involved in Tupac's murder or Biggie's murder?
I think that when you set up an atmosphere for something to happen, how involved are you? You set up the atmosphere. You put people in positions to get hurt. He knew that somebody was going to do something. He was told. I told him before we left. I told him. Mace told him. See, people ain't telling. See, everybody think that Gene Deal is the only one know this shit. I'm not the only one that's noticed and privileged to this information. I'm the only one that's speaking on it and has spoke on it. Now, people are coming out gradually, but when Puff set up an atmosphere for somebody to get hurt and they get hurt, don't you take some responsibility for that?
Is that more tactics? He's not going to pull the trigger. He might not even pay someone to do so, but like releasing that song Who Shot You, that creates an atmosphere, creating certain things and planting seeds in somebody else's mind to be number one, where Tupac ends up getting killed, Biggie ends up being killed.
When you set the stage for something to happen, you're responsible for it, Gann says. Diddy put people in danger, knew something was going to go down, and did nothing to stop it. Gann isn't the only one with this info. Others saw it too. He's just the only one speaking publicly. Think about it. Diddy released Who Shot Ya after Tupac got hit, refused peace meetings, took Biggie to LA despite warnings, and was present when plans for violence were being made, all without warning anyone. Gon asks a simple question: if you create the conditions for someone to get hurt, aren't you responsible? He's not saying Diddy pulled a trigger or paid someone directly, but by planting ideas, refusing peace, and setting situations in motion, did he contribute to Tupac and Biggie's deaths? So why did 50 Cent leave this out of the Netflix doc? 3 reasons. Legal risk. Keefe D is currently on trial for Tupac's murder, including unverified claims could have interfered with an active federal investigation. Credibility. Gon is entertaining, but some call him a conspiracy theorist. 50 probably cut him to keep the documentary bulletproof. Diddy's lawyers even sent Netflix a cease and desist, calling the doc a hit piece. Money. Gon wanted payment he felt his footage and story deserved. 50, being a businessman, cut him out instead. Meanwhile, other drama unfolds. Diddy reportedly sent 50 Cent funeral-style flowers at Club 11 in Miami. Look, after all this, it's hard not to believe Gon deal. He has specific, consistent details, was actually there, and is finally putting everything out in the open, from Diddy knowing about Tupac's quad studio shooting to the $1 million check linked to Tupac, the ignored warnings before Biggie's death, and Diddy's role in creating the dangerous atmosphere. Netflix may have left it out for legal, credibility, or financial reasons, but Gon, he's not staying quiet. The world is hearing it now. So, what do you think? Is Gon Deal telling the truth? Was Diddy involved in Tupac and Biggie's deaths? What's next for the federal investigation now that all this info is public? Comment below. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.